Hello. It's good to be live with you this 21st of December that quite a few people are quite excited about, as you probably know. And for those of you who are not heavy on astrology, I just want to comfort you from the get-go that it doesn't really matter at all what you believe about astrology, whether you believe in it, whether you're not certain, etc., because we're going to look at some principles. By the way, before I start, I'd just like to point to the Amaryllis back there. Those of you who joined the 8-day retreat and the 8 guided meditations saw this very Amaryllis open up gently over the number of the 8 days, and it's still around 16 days later. Had 6 buds, and 3 blossoms have since faded, and 3 are up and alive. You can attach a lot of meaning to that if you want, or just, be happy to hear that there's a rather beautiful flower still vitally alive after 16 days. So today is the great conjunction, the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter at 0 degree of Aquarius, and it is the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere and the summer solstice in the southern hemisphere. All of those things I've just said are astronomical facts. It's astronomy. It's where we are, where, now, from now on, days will get a little longer on the northern hemisphere, a little shorter on the southern hemisphere. It is a turnaround. The solstice is the time, the exact time when days that had been getting shorter get longer once more, and days that had been getting longer get shorter once more. Turning points are a central occurrence in all of our lives, right? And so, the whole tradition, the way Christmas is celebrated in the West, came from, we really don't know the historical date of when Jesus of Nazareth may have been born, but it got placed awfully close to the winter solstice, which was a well-established Celtic celebration in Europe, where it all started spreading majorly in a few centuries into our current epoch, etc. But there was also, that celebration of light. The Christmas tree, of course, has Celtic origins, bringing the light into the darkness. And then, of course, there are the Jewish origins of the Hanukkah celebration of, lighting candles to celebrate the building and inauguration, if I'm not mistaken, of the Second Temple in Jerusalem. So whatever it is that makes you want to focus on, this is a turning of the tides. Sun, light, delight, enjoyment, pleasure, ease, relief is coming back. Something good's heading my way. Or, of course, now, currently on the southern hemisphere, it's like something's gotten richer and richer and longer and bigger, and now it's time to let it ebb off gently. It's a time of gratitude for the growth this far, and now it's time to let it ebb off in the interest of harmony and balance. So let's just take a few minutes here before I get into the major qualities of Saturn and Jupiter, and why you don't even have to be interested in astrology at all to get something out of what today may have you thinking about and feeling into. Whether you believe that this day alone and this astronomical occurrence alone guarantees any kind of shift in human consciousness is not so much the point as when you turn your attention to what ebbing is and how it leads to flow, and what flow is and how it leads to ebbing, what augmenting is and how it leads to diminishing, what diminishing is and how it leads to augmenting. When you focus on what that is for you and where you lodge in it and on it, in that movement and on that journey, then it actually does bring on a shift that's made by you and for you. So follow your breath as you're sitting there with hands resting on knees and thighs and feet contacting the floor. And as you allow your shoulders to melt out into the natural expansion that is theirs, allowing the shoulders to feel freer and freer with each breath. Allow the exhalation to be complete and take you all the way to the end. And one of the greatest initiations is to realize that there is no clearly defined end. You actually can't quite make out the moment when the exhalation is truly over. If you if you turn your sensory awareness fully to your breath, then you realize there's an ebbing where invariably you do not quite know, is this still an exhale? Is this a space between the exhale and the inhale? A pause? Is this an imperceptible beginning of an inhalation? Oh, there comes a time in every breathing cycle and in so many cycles of life when you do know very clearly, now something has turned, the tides have turned, I'm breathing in again, I can clearly feel it now. And you receive the inhalation fully. And again, there will come a moment when you're not quite sure, have I breathed to the brim, so to speak? There comes a time when you will clearly know, the tides have turned, I'm now releasing again, embarking on that journey of both settling down and letting go, that downward movement of energy. There will come a time when you know, the tides have turned, I'm now clearly engaged in the journey of admitting, receiving, allowing in. And there will come a time when again you know that you're definitely already on the journey down and out. And there will again come a time when you know you're clearly on the journey that is of breath and energy flowing in and up. And the down and out. And the in and up can be clearly felt, and tasting them, feeling them, sensing them, savoring them has a very immediately and simply and deeply soothing effect. Yet the greatest initiation lies between the two. The greatest initiation lies in the moment of consciously knowing, if you can. That you can't say, oh, this year has been such a test of that capability for any even remotely able to sustain the rich initiation into unknowing. Such a test for any of us. To be able to stand the fact that we simply don't know. And to observe ourselves rushing into, oh, I do know, I have an opinion, I do know, I do know. That's okay, that's human. It is also, however, why I call it nothing less than an initiation. To finally land in the space of not knowing. To finally land in the space of consciously feeling what it is like just not to know. Am I still releasing? And is something still coming down? Much less what's coming down. Or am I already receiving? Is this flowing in already? And at the turning of the inhale to the exhale, there may be less of a mystery. Maybe because from the place of having received and received fully, well, you do feel, well, if I forced it, I could inhale a little more. You also feel, but there's no need to. So from that place of relative abundance, I've received the fill of breath. It's easier to say, all right, it's okay, I can relax, release into the letting go, the exhale, the sinking. Then when you let everything come down with each breath, or in each phase of life, or in the arc of each life path as a whole, if you let everything come down that's going to come down, if you let everything go that you truly feel you no longer need to hold on to, if you've gone to the end of letting go and letting go and letting go some more, releasing, releasing and releasing some more, letting the things come down that will come down, and then letting some more come down. There is more of a risk or a chance you're taking. Will there be? Will there be a bounty for me to receive, an abundance for me to simply welcome? Will there be a new day, a new dawn, new life, new expansion? Oh, and it really doesn't matter what the mind has to say to that. What does the being, what does the body vessel actually feel about this? Can you feel the freshness of what comes into your body space? Can you feel the freshness of the tissues of your body expanding as you let an inhalation come that truly is coming, and coming as a surprise, and coming into a space of conscious not knowing? The received breath of life into a space of conscious unknowing. There is something so refreshing in that. Something deeply refreshing to the body and soul, even as, or even if, you keep it a completely secular exercise. You don't have to tell those who already have spiritual convictions of one sort or another what they can sort of load onto the exhalation and what they can load onto or project onto the inhalation, receiving divine light. That is what you associate with the inhale, or letting the divine will come down and manifest with the exhalation. But I would, if you do have such convictions, encourage you to keep it simple. Let the mind shut up, even with its beautiful words, and take a chance on having this be a secular experience for now, a body-based one, where something's coming down. Does it have to have a hip name, or a sacred name, or a distant name? Can't it just be nameless and a fact? A thing that you feel? Something's always coming down. Something's always settling into you. You're always settling down into something. You're always finding, if you allow this downward movement to truly happen to you and with you and in you, then it is something that always informs you about landing in what is here now, contained in the moment, held in the moment, being as it is, held in the suchness of the moment, held, not lost, not washed away, held. Can you feel that? Not imagine, feel. Is a notion of that present to your sensing ability now? Does your body feel it now? Now is the moment you feel safe, held and contained. or not. There is no feeling safe, held and contained outside the present moment in which you land. And then, as you receive the inhalation, can you feel the freshness, the expansion, the widening, the new life that comes into the cells of your body? Not imagine, feel. Once again, can you physically feel resonance of your body informing your whole being? This is what it feels like. Listen, look, feel, savor this. This is what it feels like. The body is always offering to inform the total being. This is what it feels like when you let me receive the breath. When you do not fear and take a breath fearfully, when you just receive, you let it come. There is something expansive about the way the body then feels. It just gets wider and softer and more alive. Can you feel it now? And as the body truly does feel more alive with every inhalation, can you feel how that expands not just your sense of the space your body occupies, not just the sense of the space you occupy within your body, not just the sense of how much space there is within each cell of your body, but a sense of how spacious life itself and your life is in this moment of feeling that. And as with each new out-breath, you settle into what's there right now a little more deeply yet. Feeling even more securely contained by what's there right now. There's a notion of that quality that's sometimes symbolized as Saturn. Containment, form, time, confirmation that that is what is now. This is how it is now. This is how it is now. It is. The beauty, not the darkness. The firmness, not the heaviness. The confirmation, not the confinement of Saturn lies in this, yes. There is weight to life and time, yes. There is a pleasant weightedness to you in this body, to me in this body. Yes, there is pleasant weight, a appropriate weight to my words, to my voice, to the winds that blow, to the trees that stand, to the water that falls. There's a gravity to it all. It's not too much and not too little. It's not too much, and if it were missing, it would have me not know where I am or who I am. There's gravity to the name that I've been given and the story that I've lived. This makes me up. At times it may feel like it weighs me down, but oh, practice the exhale to find the just balance between this is what gives my life the weight that is right for it to have. It is the containment into which the new life and the new expansion is received with every inhalation. And as I feel expansion within each cell, as you feel expansion among the cells, between the cells, within the cells of your body, as you feel something new coming, the tides have turned and something new is just beginning to expand. You are already feeling the essence of that, which is sometimes symbolized as Jupiter, the principle of expansion, the part of you that dreams of reaching beyond the confines of containment, reaching beyond the boundaries and the limits of the body, of constructed identities of what I've been and known so far, and yet this is born from landing within the container of now, within the container of me, to see that now is the foundation for something that's never been here before, and that I am the seed of something that is just becoming and has never been before. Feel that for a while. Now, what if? What if today were the day? What if now that you're hearing this, now that you are hearing this, were the moment that these two qualities came into perfect conjunction, that is, perfect connection? What if right now were the moment where you make it so, where you allow it to be so, that within you that lands in containment, that feels contained, confirmed and carried, we're perfectly connected, conjunct with that in you that can never be restrained, cannot be held back. What if right now were the moment when the part of you that knows that life is nothing if it isn't eternal change, growth, and expansion, became conjunct with that within you that deeply knows that life is nothing if it is not contained. What if now were the moment where feeling contained no longer means or spells feeling constrained? What if this were the moment where the part of you capable of enjoying containment is the very part that champions expansion and growth? What if that perfect conjunction of your expansive self and your grounded self, of your grounded self and your ever-growing self, happened at 0 degree of clarity? Aquarius symbolizes the part of you or me that looks through appearances and will not be deterred from the clarity of its gaze. What if, in other words, you were undeterred in your gaze at the fact that it takes both perfect containment and perfect expansiveness? What if nothing could stop you? Nothing could stop the clarity and relaxed determination that you have about there must be a new balance. There must be a new balance between being all champions of containment in the now and champions of growth outside of and beyond time. If astrology means everything or means a lot to you, you'll find it very easy to fill in the things that I've addressed, that I've mentioned. And yet, those who have no particular interest or no conviction or even skepticism about astrology understand that we are talking about principles that are universal: containment and expansion, the human desire to feel that containment isn't constraint, that expansion isn't chaos and losing oneself, and that clarity is a framework where the two can meet in perfect union, in perfect unison. Maybe today, and any time you choose to return to this video and this meditation and this exercise, can be because you make it so, because you choose to at least be open to that possibility, be a turning of the tides. What's been too long can shorten, what's been too short can become longer. A turning of the tides from either or to both. A turning of the tides from habitual behavior to clarity and undeterred gaze. Be unstoppable in your desire and ability to forge ahead with, including both the Saturn you and the Jupiter you, in ever-growing, ever more perfect union or conjunction. Thank you for joining this very secular experience today, or as spiritual as you want it to be and were able to feel it to be. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful transition into whatever is next for you. Have a wonderful path working with these two components that are you and me, whether we know it or not, whether we practice it or not. All the best to you, and may we connect abundantly in the next year and beyond.